Hello and welcome to today's full moon meditation. I'm Theresa and I just felt like I wanted to share some little practices that I do on the full moon, or that I've been weaving into how I interpret my spirituality. So one of the things that I do when I'm setting up to do a spiritual practice on this time, I make a list of the things and sort of goals that I want to do, but I also make a list of maybe things that I'd like to change, maybe thoughts or beliefs or negative patterns, and do a release of those things. Or it may be an emotion or an event that might have happened over the last few weeks or even in the day that I want to move away from, or move my emotions to a better feeling place. So I try and list those things and do a visual representation of letting them go. So I have behind me, and you can't see because I've got the green screen thing up, but I will try and bring it in. I've got a candle to represent fire. I've got a shell with earth. I'll put a photo up. A shell with some earth for the sea, and I have actually got a bowl of water which I've put salt into. So you don't have to have all these things, but they were things that I can use, and I'll show you how I use them. I've also got a feather to represent air and all of the elements basically. So we've got stone, and I've got particularly my hand painted gratitude stone. To lift that up to the camera, disappearing in the green screen there. It's probably better if I hold it in front of me. And then my crystals. And the moon traditionally is a really good time that you can cleanse your crystals. For any of you who are into crystals, I'm not an expert with crystals, but my own crystals that I have, I put out on the windowsill or outside in the garden to cleanse whilst we have the full moon. And I get water, which I use as like a visual representation of cleansing. So I'll fill this up tonight when I go to bed and pop it on the windowsill. And then I use that so that whenever I'm drinking that particular water, it's like a representation of me physically manifesting in that cleansing process throughout my body to cleanse any toxins, and sort of imagining the water overnight soaking up the rays of the moon, that creative energy, that new beginning energy, that fresh start, and that sort of feeling of being and starting a new cycle, and that whole following cycles of ourself and honouring the cycles, especially as women's cycles. And I learnt tonight in my other circle that us women, we tend to follow the 28-day cycle with our menstrual cycle as well, and men sometimes they more on a 24-hour cycle because they have a different, and honouring their own, that difference and the duality between the masculine and the feminine, I think will come in to play this month as we go through and join and become and turn it over into Gemini. So I'd like to do a guided meditation, take you through. I'm not going to talk too much, but I do have some lovely words and a poem that I'd like to share with you from a lady named Rebekah. Oh, if I get it up. Please forgive me with my pronunciation. Those of you on my page know I am dyslexic, but Brognick, I think I'm pronouncing that right. And these beautiful words that she shared with us in one of the Hay House lectures, and I really thought this message was beautiful words, so I'd like to share that during our meditation and to meditate on. But first, if you want to get yourself into a comfortable position, if you want to lay down, that's fine. Just remember to tell yourself, I don't need to go to sleep. If it's late at night and you're listening to this later on and you want to go to sleep, that's fine. I'm sure your subconscious will take on board whatever is relevant and needed to know for you, or for you to know at this time. One of the things I do when I'm holding space, as I said, is I smudge myself. I do this Not so much because I feel like I have to or need to, but again, I'm using creative visualization. So it's a visual prompt for me, but also honouring to the American Indians. Some of you know I collaborated with Chloe from Kashinomi, and I learnt from her yesterday that there was a time that the American Indians weren't allowed to smudge. It was illegal for them. So it's definitely something to honour and do, because it was considered they wouldn't allow them to practice that religious belief. So I like the idea of honouring that and honouring them. I have sage. Different herbs represent things for different cultures, and I ask you to maybe research that and look into that further, but I'm not going to go too much into that. All I do is, they recommend with a match, but I just light. Oh, I just leant on the keyboard. You can still hear me. And I have this sage come from an American Indian. The Apache elder that I heard talking recently said, obviously it's nice if you've got your own grown in the garden, and then you use a feather, preferably an eagle's feather, or a feather that you've got from home, just to brush the smoke around you and under your feet. When I'm doing this, I'm visualizing cleansing the room and myself in order to sort of be from a place of love and just any negative thoughts away from me, or any what I call thought forms, not energy, or energies people can see me, but not as in a bad way. It's more just so that I'm in this pure state of heart, to be open and speak from the heart. For me, that's how I interpret that process. It's different for different people, but that's what it means to me personally when I do this. And I tend to do it if I'm going to do a moon ceremony like tonight. So that's the first thing I do. And as I said, then I set up things that are represent. Now, to me, I have two little figures where's the camera gone? There's both. Oh, it's a long way around. You see it without it disappearing, without me disappearing in the thing, of Buddha, a laughing Buddhas. And it is also the Buddhist ceremony taking place at this time. So I referred it to this as the full moon with the Buddha, or the truth moon, and home truths for our own inner being coming to light, truths of internally, or things that we maybe need to know or learn to grow and move our soul forward, or that calling us from our soul purpose, depending on where our faith is. And I understand obviously these processes, maybe if you come from a Christian background, might be different to you, but I think of them also of things like crystal and Christ-like, along those lines, higher vibrational energies and processes and practices, and the spiritual techniques and paths to connect, or to be on an inward journey. And this whole ritual and process, whether that be through prayer, or the active of putting out the objects, it's that sense of ritual and getting yourself in a certain state of being and a mindfulness, or your thoughts along a certain type of, or aligning with a certain type of thought process. So as I said, if you're comfortable, I think I haven't missed anything out. If I have, I'll add that into you. I also always start my meditations, for those of you who've followed them, with a slight grounding. So if you at any point feel like you need to come back, or that you're drifting off and you're feeling uncomfortable, then you can go back to what I call your anchor state. So whether you're laying down or you're sitting, feel your feet. So I call you to close your eyes. Obviously, depending on whether you have any physical ailments, get to where you feel comfortable. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be uncomfortable if you're not physically able to. But just feel your feet, or the bottom of your body if you're laying, and just become and take your awareness down to your feet, and that connection to the ground, to the carpet, if you're in the room you're in. Just bringing yourself and your awareness down. Feeling and wiggling the toes and knowing that presence. Seeing a visual representation of roots rooting down into the earth. Imagine you're wiggling your toes into maybe damp, wet grass or dewed grass beneath them, or an image perhaps of the earth and the greenery. This is your earthing grounding point. Bring your awareness back to your breath. And just breathe. Maybe don't worry about the breaths. Just naturally observing your natural state of breath. Breathing in and breathing out, the flow. Start to become aware of that slight pause just before you exhale. Listening to any sounds in the distance. What can you hear? Subtleties of the sounds around you, whether it be your breath or any rooms within your own home, externally. Observing. And though we have our eyes closed, just observe for a moment that sense of your eyes being closed. If there's a light in the room, you might see the cells going across your eyes. If it's dark, just that general dark and blackness and sense of space. As you're breathing, and remember to keep breathing for me, any smells, any incense that you have within the room. It may just be your own smells, like the smell of the shampoo you used. Any tastes that you can taste within your mouth. And going more into our body, become aware of any posture. If you feel like you need to roll those shoulders back, make sure you're sitting up and feel that spine feeling upright, or laying nice and flat if you're laying down. But feel like you're being lifted up, as if someone's kind of pulling that head up. Feeling your posture rising up. Connecting the science with this, with our body posture. If you're laying on the ground, feel that sense of the ground being there, enveloping you, and that strength holding you in the arms of the sense of strength that the earth gives us. That everlasting grounding feeling. Enveloping like a sense of a womb-like state. You're safe. Now take your sense and your awareness to the room, in your surroundings, without opening your eyes. Envision where you are and the air, the breath that's coming in, that flow of air. that abundance of air that's there for us. Take a moment just to be in a state of gratitude for that pure abundance that's always there. That just comes, that sense of life. And then we're going to go down and into our heart space, what some call the soul chamber. For me, this is the love, the passion, the fire. And with it being a Scorpio moon, as I've been told recently, the sense of our sexuality, or this gentle love, maybe that self-love. And the beautiful colours of reds and purples come up for me. In that space. It might be represented visually differently to you, and that's okay. Just sitting with that and the soul for a moment before we go on a little journey. I'm just going to take you on a little future focus. So this is our anchor, this space within ourselves, looking inward. It's there whenever we need it. But for a moment, we're going to go forward, seeing yourself maybe lifting up for the moment. And we're going to walk through time to a point. Maybe think of a date that you'd like to go forward to. It could be 4 weeks' time, it could be 6 months, it could be 18 months or 5 years. You set that yourself wherever that needs to be. We're going to move forward. As we're moving forward, there may be things that jump out to us that's relevant for us to know. So that when we get to that point in time, we remember this point, and we remember what we're meant to know. And we're reminded that going forward, and when you arrive at that point, you start to see yourself. You become aware of yourself between different aspects of your feeling and your heart. First, I want you to think of family and see what any images that come to you from your future self. And just make a mental note of anything that you need to take back. Moving to your career or your work or your soul purpose. What do you see? Who's with you? Are there any colours that stand out? Any symbols, any objects? Any places? Moving to maybe your partners and significant relationships in your life. That doesn't have to be with a partner, though it can be. And the same again, any smells, anything that looks vivid, making a mental note of those details. Moving to the spiritual, your own spiritual practice or religion, whatever that is for you personally. Taking those details in, and then I want you now to connect to that future self. You're looking at that self like a reflection through a mirror, and we're walking into that and becoming one with that. That a higher version of you that is a combination of your perfect decisions, thoughts and desires manifest through purpose and love. And I want you to listen and ask yourself this question: what does my future self need me to know? What do I need to take? What wisdom do I need to know right now back into the future for me to become this person, this future me that's perfectly aligned with love and purpose? And open your heart, visualize your heart and a beautiful orchid flower opening to that wisdom that may come now, may come in the next few days, may come in your dreamscape. Opening to that part and receptive to that love, high vibrational, and accepting. And your future self plants that seed within your heart for it to grow in bloom into whatever that is that you need to bloom into. I want you to embrace that self, saying, I love you. She's saying, I love you back. You are enough. You are loved. Totally love and approve of you. Whatever happens over the time period that you set for yourself is to get to you for this point that you need to be in. Taking a deep breath before you're stepping back. As you step back, coming back now through time, guiding back to your anchor, to your space, back into the grass and the earth, to the moment and the present moment, retaining any thoughts, any symbols, any wisdom that you need to know right now, remembering the anchor points you set on your way forward, so whenever you get to those points you are aware of what you need to know at that time. And while we're in this space, I'm going to share these words with you. Abundant love, abundant joy, abundant energy, abundant time. I call on abundant blessings. I am worthy of all that I have and more. I offer my love. I offer my joy. I offer my energy. I offer my time. I feel blessed to share my gifts with the world. I am a worthy steward for the abundant love and blessings of the universe. I am grateful for all that I am, all that I have been given, and all that I have to share. What blessing me, move me, move through me, bless me and bless others. I am a vessel for the infinite blessings because I give freely and with a loving heart. I am worthy of having big dreams and seeing them come true because my success serves everyone I love. Take that in and repeat in your mind this mantra 3 times. I am worthy of abundant blessings. I welcome them with joy. I am worthy of abundant blessings. I welcome them with joy. I am worthy of abundant blessings. I welcome them with joy. If you've got a pen and paper and you feel like you want to write anything down, this would be a time to do that. If not, I'm going to take you through a little mini visualization and a little letting go. So while we're still in this space, you can, in your mind, if you want to write it, or you can physically write this. So for example, if there's any limiting thoughts, any beliefs, any situation in your life right now that you feel you want to bring about change or move in a different direction or move forward, then hold that image of what that is, or visually write that on a piece of paper. And we're going to either visualize it or physically do this, or you can physically do this after we come back, take the piece of paper and write it. But whilst your eyes are still closed, what I'm going to do is take you through it guided. So as I said, the situation, I want you to see it written on a piece of paper, see it in a visual representation or a bubble. Maybe it's something that you want to birth into being, into manifestation, or maybe it's something that you feel that you want to let go of. As I said, it may be addictions of sorts, or addictions or behavioural patterns that you would like to change, that you feel it's time to move past. It may be fears or sadnesses or grief that you want to let go of and you want to feel in a better feeling place for. So see that and just hold yourself in that space and that emotion for a moment. And then I want you to put it down, put it into that bubble, onto the paper, or see a visual representation of that, hence like a rock or a pebble. And when you've got that, we're going to put that visual representation into a bowl of water. So where you are in the space of your green space, you're feeling the earth and your safe anchor space. I want you to see a representation of the water. It can be the sea, it can be a stream, it can be an actual physical bowl of water. I have beside me, so a physical bowl. So I'll take those from you and put it into here, and I will be transferring it and clearing and transmuting it as we're about to do so. Placing the pebble, placing your representation into the water, into the cleansing waters of the universe, into your visual representation or your physical one. So if you do this later, take the piece of paper and put it into the water, cleansing that and releasing it. We're clearing and transmuting it across all time and space, sending and cutting any cords, any attachments to those behaviours. Seeing if anything comes through for you that feels like it's heavy, it's weighted, it's darkness. I want you to see the light coming to that. See the physical flame, in that case, burning. Whatever feels right for you. It'll be different for different souls and different star signs as well, I believe. So you will be drawn to either burn. But For me, the reflection, see the light of the moon reflecting in the water, that brightness of the moon enveloping around you, bright, silvery, white, so light it's like daytime. The water's washing away, the flame not putting out but firing, just as the fire burns and replenishes the earth and transmutes that into an energy of renewal. So be it any situations, any feelings, any fears, clearing and transmuting them across all time and space. Feeling that rushing through us, feeling of fires burning away, feeling waters washing away, feeling that light, bright feeling washing over us. And then the air coming down like a tornado from above, from the heavens, from the galaxy, coming down into the top of your head and clearing any negative thoughts and behaviours, swirling and lifting them up like that tornado, like a hoover sucking it out, blowing the cobwebs away, moving that energy around you, balancing and rebalancing. Grounding back down to earth, feeling yourself and your heart and your spirit revitalized anew. The beginning, looking forward, feeling yourself anchored again. And I just want you to just, one more thing before you go, and we go back. Compassion. I want you to think of someone or something that brings the emotion of love to you if you're not feeling it already. That energy of love around you. And just to take a moment with this moon, first to see that person that you love. And feel that connectiveness surrounding you, surrounding your heart and surrounding them. Then seeing it in the room that you're in and feeling the energy of the space and the environments and the experiences that you are and being drawn to around you. Taking that out and expanding that out to your community and the people you come around and contact to, the people you speak to, the interactions you have, the words you speak, the words you hear. Taking that out as well, I want you to see a map of the world, first of where we are geographically, of our towns and our cities. Imagine little dots of light lighting up all over the world for every sentient being, for the people that we know, maybe neutrally, maybe it's like the postman or the dustman. And again, for every sentient being of life, be it the plants around us, the animals, lighting up like an ink dot that's spreading out from where you are right across the globe till you're high above the earth, looking down and seeing this. Present in this room, but yet high above the earth. Your awareness simultaneously in both these places, connected to all that is. You are one. We are one. All is one. Sending this feeling of love and compassion to all. May the energy be for the good of all who are hearing, all who are present. I thank you for allowing me to share and hold space for you. Coming back down. Knowing that we are always connected and always feeling that abundance of all that is. Like a net and a womb to protect and guide us whenever we need it. Take a really deep breath for me, filling up your body with oxygen, sending it out around your lungs and around the body. But waking yourself back up and the body back up. Start to roll your shoulders back, wiggling your toes, your awareness back into your body, and your fingers slowly coming back. And when you're ready to open your eyes, but only when you're ready to do so. Thank you. It's important now to drink lots of water, to ground yourself back further into the body if you're still awake and you're still with me, and to eat something of the earth. For me, the strawberries. Crunchy biscuit. Doesn't matter what. So thank you from me, Theresa at Authentic Me. As I said, make sure you drink over the next couple of days water and ground yourself. Please take note of any images and symbols that come to you over the next day in your dreams that are relevant to you. I hope that you enjoyed that. Please like and share this with people that you feel may benefit. My love and blessings, and goodbye. Thank you.